Guys, namaste sober, and I hope you do too. So I got my hair cut. I've been needing like some type of change. Things have been so crazy for me, especially the last 7 months sober. And I don't know, I just felt like I needed to do something, and the people that were doing my hair before were like, no, we won't cut it. I'm super glad that I did. I think it's super cute. And I actually did the color, but that's not as noticeable as the cut is, which is great. My son hates it, but I love it. But anyways, I wanted to make another video now that I'll have more time, because I didn't get to finish my story as to, you know, how I became an alcoholic and everything like that, and my background. So I just wanted to be able to get that out there, and also, you know, just talk a little bit about my recent experience with everything, because I finally went to court and things kind of settled. So, but we'll start off with the first time that I drank. I was 13, and I had two friends that were at my house, and they just kind of like convinced me that it was like, oh, let's do this, blah, blah, blah. We ended up stealing a bottle of gin from my foster mom, because she was an alcoholic, or is, or whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna go with, I think I drank pretty much most of that bottle, because I ended up getting so drunk that I don't remember it. I blacked out, and I blacked out and then also drank so heavily that I ended up getting alcohol poisoning, and I hallucinated. I remember being in like the cop car, because the cops came, because we ended up like roaming the streets or whatever. And we were loud and obnoxious, and when they put me in the cop car, I swore that there was like a guy in a monkey suit next to me. It was the weirdest thing, and I swore that I spoke to like Abraham Lincoln in the front seat. Yeah, so it was very, very strange. The next morning, I remember waking up and just to the foster dad or whatever. They didn't end up grounding me really, because I think he just felt bad and guilty, because he knew that she was an alcoholic and that I was kind of like just learning from her traits. So that ended up happening, and then after that I didn't drink for like a while. Clearly I would drink here and there with like friends. I never really thought that it was a big deal. It wasn't anything crazy, but then like other drugs kind of started to get into play. Like I just got into a really bad group of friends, and I had tried and dabbled a couple things that like I mean now of course, you know, I would never do, but stuff that's terrifying and definitely addicting. The first time I ever did crack, I was tricked into it. It was a horrible experience. But, you know, I didn't realize until the foster parents had sent me away. I ended up going to a behavioral modification school, like I'd said in the last one, that a lot of this stuff was because of the experience in my life, and like just feeling like I was never wanted or needed, and I felt like I had to numb the pain, but I didn't realize I wasn't conscious of the fact that this is what I was doing. Of course now, you know, in my 30s, of course I realized differently. And I'm thankful that I see it so differently. I think that kind of helps with my sobriety and understanding why I did it. And I'm not saying that this is for everybody and that's why everybody does it. I feel like it's different for everyone. But for me, it definitely helps me to understand that that's why I got drunk, because initially, the minute that something bad happens, what do I want to run to? I want to run to alcohol. So that kind of helps me to like understand and associate that like that's just a common thing. It was just normal. And then of course, you know, the foster home I left when I came home from this program, I graduated, stuff like that. Then when I was 18, which was like shortly right after I'd gotten home from this program, they kicked me out. They were done with me, whatever. Kind of like jumped from home to home. I was in like a friend of mine who I'm actually still friends with, her family, who had taken her in too. Kind of helped me, but that was a really weird, awkward situation and uncomfortable. And then I kind of just like lived in like random places off people's couches or in people's homes. And then I met my son's father, and his family immediately took me in. They were so sweet and just great to me. And you know, they're not American, so maybe that's why they were just so easily to take me in, and not knowing who I was. Because I'm always shocked that, like, people will do that for me. Because I'm just like, you don't even really know me. Like, that's crazy. But clearly we end up having a kid together. I didn't really drink with him or anything like that. And we were together for 2 years until I got pregnant with Gavin. No, actually, that's a lie. We were pregnant. I was together for a year until I got pregnant with Gavin. And then Gavin came and a lot just changed. I freaked out at being a parent, at being a mother. I wasn't sure that I was ready. I wasn't, because I was 20 and a baby, raising a baby. A lot of things like with my sexuality started to come up, and I was just like really struggling with that. And kind of like really shortly, like after I had Gavin, it was like 3 months, and kind of my drinking just kind of went off. I was more concerned with going out and partying and stuff like that. I wasn't the best mom to him as a child. And I know that now, and he's forgiven me, and I'm very thankful. But that's also made us very much closer now. Initially, because it just made me realize, I shouldn't be bringing life into this world and not caring, especially because that's kind of what happened to me. Not that I think my biological parents didn't care. But I definitely, now I wish that somebody was there, because I'm so content with being alone. A lot of times that I wish, I had family, because it's so endearing whenever I see some of you guys with your family and you just love being together. Like, I don't even celebrate Christmas anymore because of it. But anyways, so I experienced that for years. And then my first DUI I was 24, and truthfully I thought that I was going to, when I got pulled over, I thought I was going to get over it or get out of it, and of course that didn't happen. And I refused the breathalyzer. Don't do that, because I still got a DUI. I lost my license for 6-7 months, but I never even got it back for like a year and a half later, for a whole year and a half later. Because I just didn't care. Like, that's the thing. Like, the drinking just like suppressed a lot of these feelings, and I didn't care about myself or what I was doing or anything like that. And a lot of people, I think they were scared to push me because they know that initially I didn't have family or parents, so like they didn't know how to handle it. And I don't blame people. I understand. And then there was some people, not even pretty much everybody in my life was very helpful in getting my life back together. But immediately, ultimately, drinking just kind of became the thing or the problem. And initially where drinking really started was probably like 5 years ago. And that's where like my sexuality really came into play, because when I left my son's father, initially I left as a lesbian. And then it kind of like switched, and I thought maybe I wasn't gay, and maybe I was just straight, and of course it wasn't even a chance for me to be with a woman. And it was this whole entire thing. And then it was kind of like my drinking was to get me to be straight kind of deal. Like, I drank to be straight. And I just became an extremely functional alcoholic, like where I didn't drink when I woke up, but I made sure that it was like part of my routine towards the night, like evening for me to go to bed, whatever the hell the case may be. And I was able, I managed, I bartended too, so it was easy. I didn't really ever, when I bartend, I didn't drink while I was working. That was like the one plus that I did for myself. And then of course it just like was constantly suppressing the fact that I was an alcoholic, so it was just helping other alcoholics, or trying to. And then this time last year, so I had a family, so back into the whole situation. I know this story's taking forever, and I apologize. Because there were just a lot of aspects to it. But in my early 20s, when I first left Jack, and part of my sexuality and stuff like that as well, a family took me in. And I had met them I was working at a hair salon, because I also do hair. And I'd gotten written up for sleeping in my car, and she just like said that she had it, and this, that, and the other, and she's like, come stay with me. And it was only supposed to be for like a week, but I, lucked out, and they took me in for like 8 months, and helped me to get into hair school and all sorts of stuff. Like, I was just very, very, very thankful. And I, not intentionally, but I took them in like they were my parents, because I was lacking that. And then they abruptly moved to Minnesota. We still like kept in contact, and at one point they like wanted to adopt me and stuff like that, but I was older, they really couldn't. Their kids weren't a fan of it. And then just over the years, like I would go out to Minnesota and visit them and stuff like that too. But I kind of started to develop feeling like I was a punching bag and playing into the shadow of their kids, and they would never really tell their kids that I was going out there. And they had their own issues with their children and stuff like that. So this time, or actually January of last year, I just had to cut ties. Like, it was just enough. I went to visit. It wasn't a good visit. They moved. And now that they're happy and stuff like that. And I think it was just too much pressure. I think I was putting too much pressure on it, like, making them seem or feel like they had to be parents to me. And there's a lot about in my life that they really didn't even know. Like, I feel like if you're a parent, like, they would know that I've gotten a DUI, and I don't think I ever told them that. So, at this point, I'd cut ties with them, and I just said, like, it was time for me to go, and that they need to work on their relationship with their kids, and that I wish them the best, and this, that, and the other. But me doing that, and it was on me, I didn't realize just how abandoned I felt in that situation, and just how lonely. Like, I kind of felt like I didn't have anyone to answer to anymore. So when I felt that, I wasn't cautious of it, like, I was just kind of like, whatever, and just kept going on with my life. But initially that made me feel bad, and I wasn't in a healthy place. I stopped caring. I didn't think that there was really much of a purpose for me. And that's kind of where, like, this whole, like, suicidal thought thing happened, because it just didn't feel like there was anything there. And then I started a job that was just a summer seasonal job, but it was far. And apparently I drove home drunk. I don't remember, and the police ended up coming to my house, and apparently I had hit a sign. Even the EMTs came on the scene, and apparently I guess I brushed them off, and I just drove home. I remember none of this. Horrible. That's not, like, now looking back, like, I'm still extremely ashamed that I did that. And that was the kind of experience that I went through. And, it's even more sad that happened, and still it took me 2 months later in order for me to quit drinking. Because I'm extremely lucky that I didn't kill somebody. I've had friends that have killed people. Like, and they have to live with that for the rest of their lives. And it's hard because as humans, a lot of times we have to learn from our own experiences. So I'm extremely grateful and proud that I am, like, where I'm at today. And I feel like my higher power was, like, literally smacking me with a brick, like, get your life together. It's enough. Like, can't keep doing that to yourself. So, I'm glad and I'm proud of where I'm at now, and that's not who I am, and that I'm not back there. And, I just hope that, like, with all this and all the things that I've gained and that I'm knowing, in this, that I'm going to still pursue and staying sober. Like, and I can only hope, like, and I just have today, I just have the second. And I hope that the rest of you guys understand that, like, and it's not easy because it's such a socially acceptable thing. But with that everything being said, all over the place. I luckily I lost my license for 6 months. And I got a reckless driving ticket. So, I'm extremely thankful because I could have lost my license for a lot longer. And, everything happens for a reason. And I know, and I feel like everything that's even added up into this situation, because even after that, like, I was getting sober and all these things in my life were falling apart. And I think it was just shedding for me to prepare. Like, I think my higher power really wanted to make sure, like, that I was going to stay sober in this situation, that it wasn't just going to be like, oh, well, I'll wait for the 6 months or the 2 years or whatever, and I'll start drinking again. Like, I have to make this take it seriously. Because drunk Sarah does not realize that she can't drink and drive, like, that she cannot do that. And that's not even the reason why I shouldn't be drinking. Like, the main reason is because I have a kid, and he deserves better from me. So, like, I just wanted to share that with you guys, and I hope, it helps bring some type of light to your situation or whatever else you guys are going through, or why, you feel like you're drinking. But, just to stay positive and make sure that you're reaching out and that you're keeping in touch with the people who are definitely keeping you in check as well. Because although you may feel slighted or whatever, they're probably doing it out of tough love, and tough love's the best kind of love. So that's really all I got for today. So namaste sober, and I hope you do too.